whereabouts?
I'm Joyce. Joyce. My husband Lee.
I'm Roger.
Where were you?
We want to get a good one.
So I thought I'd go.
Welcome to the quarterly meeting of the Historical Society. We're just a couple of notes for the club. If any of you have what you're doing, Chief McKenzie's here today. I'm happy to talk to you about that. And just for the record, the treasury report, we've done well this month. We got $100. We spent $116, which is not bad. If you're a corporation, you'd eventually have a problem. Other than that, we're doing quite well. This, of course, is part of our oral history program we do on a quarterly basis, trying to record for the history the various clubs and activities in Leisure World. And we now have almost 30 clubs, churches, various groups recorded on video. And we have to thank Chuck Burnett, who has done almost all of them. Before he did that, Mr. Washington used to do them. And so it's been very, very good to have this collection now before us. And today we get a chance to talk about the Leisure World Photography Club. If you were here 20 years ago, the Leisure World Photography Club, and they had smelly old chemicals in dark rooms, and had a really hard thing to do. Today, we now have the Leisure World Photographic Arts Club, which sounds much more highfalutin, and you now have a nice computer, and your own home, and do all those things you had to do down in a smelly old basement before. So it's been a great pleasure that I want to introduce John Harper, who is the president of the club, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about the history of the club. John?
I think I should start off by introducing my club members. Over here, Simone, Barbara, Bob rather. Tom is absent today. Then there's Isabel and Joanna, and anybody else. Now, the reason I'm introducing them is because they probably know more about this club than I do. And I kind of thought I'd come here and find out what you guys were up to and how to explain in about 2 or 3 sentences what we're doing. And I'm impressed with what I see here and a little bit challenged to delve into my memory and try to bring as many facts as I've learned over the past 4 or 5 years. For the record, I started here in, I think about 05, joined the club. And it was, we had a membership of about 10 people, and about 8 would show up at a regular meeting, maybe not even 8. I mentioned Tom Morgan was the vice president, and he hustled me into the presidency 3 terms ago, and I can't get rid of it. I understand that's not uncommon around here.
You should know better.
I'm learning. Bob is my vice president this year, and who knows what we'll be doing next year for us.
I've been president a few times too.
I asked some of the people here, and I also asked Gil Moore, who's not here, about some of the history. I have a book here that I was given, a notebook by Tom Morgan, and I read it, and I was kind of surprised because the oldest article in the minutes was the year 2000, and it seemed to me that this group would have been an original club back in the 60s. Photography was well underway 100 years before that, and it may have been. But Gil Moore mentioned one thing that I did not know until just this morning when I read his email, and that is that we have a dark room below the stage, which we took over from the Golden Rain News. It was their dark room, I guess, at the time that they were using chemicals. and they gave it up. Our members took it over. There's a couple of pieces of equipment down there. Another member of our club, Marty Fields, just arrived. Old enlargers and things of that nature. Old chemicals that have to be disposed of one way, shape, or form. And it's not much more than a storage room for frames right now. I guess a side note to that is that when it rains here, it floods in the dark room. Right. And I've heard some stories of water up to our knees. You're the one, okay. The door wouldn't open.
Yeah, door wouldn't open hardly, would not. Lucky enough, was strong enough to push it open. When I got outside, like I say, the water had been gushing down those steps to the place underneath the theater there, and the water was up to my knees there.
If you go to the auditorium, the amphitheater, and you look carefully underneath the stage on the front, and maybe even underneath the platform that comes out from the stage, you'll see a couple of windows. And that's where our dark room is. We would be delighted to close it up and offer it to someone else for some practical purpose. We don't use dark rooms anymore. I started my work with digital photography somewhere around 1998, perhaps 96, and with Photoshop, which I'm sure every member here has, every photographic arts club member has. And I've never used a darkroom per se. I'm sure that some of the people that are coming into the photography profession may get some experience in college, but that's about all because of the use of the computer, which I think is the reason for the change of the name from photography club to photographic art. Because with the use of the computer, you can change your picture, you can make an art rendering out of it, or you can add a person, or take a person out, or do all kinds of things. There was a movie along that line a number of years ago, I don't recall the name of it, but it was featuring historical scenes with other characters placed in the middle for one purpose or another, and we do the same thing. And I'm not here to, promote Photoshop or anything of that nature, but the whole scheme of photography has changed quite a bit since that time, and we're having a lot of fun. The advantage, of course, is that you can do all your photography at home. You have a digital camera, and you plug it in, you connect it to the computer. All of a sudden you have on your screen your photograph, and you have the tools to move pixels around and change the image in one way, shape, or form. Some people will take 1, 2, 3, 4 pictures and merge them together, and others will take one picture and blur up the pixels to make it look like a watercolor or a impressionist type painting. There's a lot of things that can be done that way. That's what we're doing, and that's what we encourage other members of the community to do. Our club meets on Thursday at 1:30 for our official business meeting, the second Thursday of the month. But at 1 o'clock we meet for a technical session of one kind or another. I get about 1 or 2 phone calls a month asking for help with their new digital camera. They can't get the memory card out, or they can't figure out exactly what to call it, and they refer to the film in their camera. They used up all the film in their camera, and we get a kick out of that. But by the time that the person leaves the meeting, about a half an hour later, or stays for our whole show, they're well informed. We have a lot of very good people, technically valuable, technically trained, who can lead the way into getting this person into the digital world. I'm not sure where I heard this, and I'm not sure if it's exactly accurate, but somebody told me that they had 3 or 4 digital cameras, and the reason that they have that many is that they used up the film in the first one. And they didn't realize it's a replaceable memory card, so they go out and buy another camera. Whether or not it's true, it makes a good story. Our meetings are basically composed of storytelling, some true, some false, what we've been doing each month. And we go around the table as we would do here, and everybody says that they were at this place or that place over the last month, and they took this picture or that picture, and if the timing was correct, they would bring the picture to the meeting. Originally, the first 1 or 2 meetings I went to, we had critiques where we had maybe 6 people there and about a dozen pictures, and we go around pointing out where the picture could have been improved, or why didn't you do this, or why didn't you do that. And we've kind of left that formal critique to just a matter of showing where we've been and how we're doing, and then we pick a monthly winner. I think that part of the reason that we don't do the formal critique anymore is that we have too many pictures and too many people, and it would just take too long. And I say that in the sense that when I joined, we had maybe 6, 8 members, 10 members maybe, and 6 to 8 would show up at a regular meeting. And we have maybe 15 members showing up now. Double the attendance, but double the time going around discussing what we're doing and answering the questions and things of that nature. So it does take more time, and we are limited for an hour and a half. And generally speaking, we get to 2:45, 2:50 when we have to leave to decide what we're going to do for our photograph of the month and what subject we might be choosing for the following month. If anybody here is a member of the Art League, you know they have a very formal program for the entire year. They have their speakers come in and they have their topics all lined up at the beginning of the year. And generally speaking, about 5 minutes before we close our meeting, we choose the topic for the next meeting. We're not quite as organized as they are, but it seems to work out pretty well. And then there's always the one person that's off topic that's got such an outstanding picture that you just can't turn it down as the choice for the month. The Art League has their paintings hanging on the walls in Clubhouse 3, and we have a little sidewall where we keep our photographs, not quite as formal perhaps as theirs, but we do choose one picture of the month, and then everybody else can leave any of their pictures on the wall as long as they so choose and as long as it doesn't fade. And I say that facetiously because, as you probably know, digital photography has come along, digital printing has come a long way since the art of painting many years ago, because with the proper choice of paper and ink, pigment ink, we can claim something like 200 years of vivid colors. I think everybody here has got a black and white picture and maybe a color picture of one of their elderly relatives taken many years ago. And the color's faded, or the picture's faded, or whatever have you. Theoretically, that's not going to happen anymore with the digital era and the pigment ink printing that is available for everybody. A printer, as an adjunct to a digital camera, costs about $100 up to $5,000 if you want to spend that kind of money and make large pictures. But it's available to everybody in one way, shape, or form, cost-wise. And the same with digital cameras. You can buy digital cameras now for $100 or so, with as many pixels, like 8 or 9 pixels, as the digital SLR cameras of 2 or 3 or 4 years ago. The technology in digital photography is amazing, and it's advancing at a very rapid rate. Today you can buy a small little camera like that, point and shoot camera with as many pixels, and by pixels I mean the resolution for enlarging, the ability to enlarge is controlled by the number of pixels. And these little cameras now are as good as the large digital single lens reflex cameras that most of us own or have owned in the past. How many people here actually have a little camera or a big camera that they take around when they go places? A little pocket camera perhaps? Look at that. As I said before, our membership meets on the second Tuesday at 1:30 in room 9.
Thursday.
I'm sorry, you're right, Thursday. And you're all welcome to come to our next meeting. I read a lot here, and I think that it would be nice if I could invite some of my club members who have, in addition to what I've said, contribute to this. Barbara? Bob? Simone?
I don't know what.
For the record, Bob has never had a loss for words.
Bob, you ought to at least talk more about the flood, your experience in the flood. And you have a picture for you over there to demonstrate.
I have to get it ready. The flood. Wasn't traumatic enough. Well, anyway, I'm Bob Nelson. I'm in the club for a lot of years, since film days even. Can you imagine that, Bill? What's film? Anyway, I find the great advantage today, digital, is that you can get that same picture and keep reproducing it, doing different things with it without losing any of the quality, really, you know. So once you get the image on your computer, there's no end to what you can do, whereas in the dark rooms of old times when we had film, you would do something to that picture, but that would be it, a piece of paper that was 100% used, so to speak. So the digital, you know, is great because it gives you more opportunity to do different things and improve, in your eyes at least, the picture that you've taken. The flood, as they were talking about, I just happened to be the one that was down there at the time, and the rain was very, very heavy. Like I said, I was inside the dark room, and it came very quickly, because when I came to the dark room, I hadn't started developing before I looked down and I saw a sheen of water on the floor, you know, reflection, and I could feel it instantly. There was probably about a quarter of an inch of water there. Within about 10 minutes, that water dripped up to my knees, almost, you know. And at that time, I decided to get my butt out of there, went to the door to get out, and it was a jump through because the water had swollen, and when I eventually did, like I say, open the door, wow, the water came down, because it was rushing down the steps. So it was quite a thing. So I'm here today with a little bit of luck, I guess. Because there was 3 members on the other side of the door trying to keep me in. Just kidding, just kidding. So anyway, that was the flood time. Now the pictures that we take, I don't know how familiar you are, it's up to the individual. That's why it's a great art form, because it's up to the individual, and the way you see that scene, and the way you want it reflected and made into an image, a picture. Because we can have 6 people standing here and take a picture, and it could all be different, very different, and you feel different about it, what that picture may or may not represent. So that's the great thing about the art form of photography. It's one way of expressing yourself in the form of a picture. And I've been doing photography for years and years. It doesn't mean to sound not much better, but I have been doing it for a long time. And I love it because it's a way of myself personally creating something, you know, And that's why the others get a lot out of it too, I'm sure. That it's a very personal type of thing. So you can look at the picture and say, well, I like it or dislike it. Doesn't mean a thing. It's up to you, the way you feel about that picture, whether it's representing and showing what you want to represent. Because your density of pixels or color and shades and forms and lines and composition and all that comes into it. And it all makes, because you can take a picture like here and then just move it a little bit and it might make a heck of a difference to that picture to give it strength or weakness or just represent something to you more fully and going across this way just a little bit. So is there anything else you want me to say? Or is that it? That's about it. Thank you very much. You're all welcome to the club. If you have an interest in taking pictures, there's no such thing as the best picture or not the best picture. If you like it, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. A couple other topics or additions to the subject is of the subject to anybody here that is looking for good artwork. You wander into an art store, a gallery of one kind or another, and you'll see pictures that are labeled Giclée. It has a phony French word, Giclee, with the fancy over the E's. And what it means is nothing more than a very good inkjet print. The style of printing today uses the inkjet, and I'm sure that everybody here has seen an inkjet printer in somebody's house, your house, your neighbor's house, whatever the case may be. They can print up to, I suppose, the process may move up to, say, 12-foot wide webs that are used in advertising purposes, the big billboards. The buses and trucks that you see with the fancy painting on the side is an inkjet print that's been glued to the bus, or the automobile. As I said earlier, the longevity of these prints is up to about 200 years now, properly hung in your house or the gallery so that it doesn't get exposed to the sun directly. Printings that you see on outdoor advertising might last for 6 years. Which is just amazing considering that this technology has been only around for a few years, and the pigment technology is even newer and it's changing every year. I come from the chemical business, and I have been selling, or I used to sell pigments. So one of my pigments was actually used by a company to make inkjet ink. So I have a personal commissions, let's put it that way. I receive commissions on the raw materials going into the inkjet ink itself. So I can have a greater respect for the technology than perhaps the average person has. The other thing that I should mention, because everybody here, whoops, excuse me. Everybody here, no doubt, has a collection of prints and slides at home, in a shoebox or some other place, collecting dust or at least aging in one way, shape, or form. And the way that we can get that picture into our computer is through a process called scanning. And scanning photographs is nothing more or the same thing as doing a Xerox copy of something. It's the same technology completely. And if there's anybody here that has a limited number of pictures that they wish to have scanned, we can arrange for that too. Another service of ours at the 1 o'clock technical session of our meeting is if you call up in advance and let us know, we'll have a scanner there, and we can scan a picture of about 8.5 by 11 all the way down to a slide. And I think that is about all that I can think of. Do my members have anything else they would like to add? Simone?
I wanted to say that we haven't talked. Can you all hear me?
No.
Oh, I can't stand.
No.
I just can't stand up. Okay. Hello? Okay, I had a dark room for a lot of my life before I came to visual. I guess 25 years ago, I had a dark room. I took pictures. I belonged to Camera Club. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
And one of the reasons that I wasn't so unhappy about moving was because I heard there was a dark room here. So I had an enlarger and a lot of other equipment. And I brought it all the way from New York and brought it to Leisure World. So we had another enlarger. I didn't exactly enjoy going down the steps under the stage and into the dark room because it was gloomy and scary. But I did it for several years, printing black and white negatives and color negatives. And oh, the smell, oh God, it's terrible. I'm sure it was poisonous. You know, we didn't think about that or we refused to. So when digital came in, I was very, very pleased. Gave up my enlarger down in the dark room, which was a very good dark room, and did my pictures with my digital camera. And I have owned, well, I don't know, at one point I had about 8 cameras. I'm down to 1. And I, a couple of years ago, got rid of my last film camera because I wasn't using it. And I wasn't ever going to work in the darkroom again. But it was a very nice darkroom under the stage, just a little bit spooky. It really was. And I used to call my husband quite often, say, I'm here. So somebody would know where I was. But I enjoyed it. But I enjoyed digital even more. Okay, and I think our club is a very nice club. I wish we had more members. But I enjoy making pictures. I just enjoy taking the camera out, making pictures, and bringing them back, and seeing what I can do to bring out what I saw in it, but might not show up on the screen. Okay.
Thank you. I think I've talked enough. Do we have any questions from the audience here? Anybody have any questions or any comments that they'd like to add?
I don't have a question. I'm a member of the Photography Photographic Arts Club, but we also have speakers. And we've had a couple of wonderful speakers that I don't know who met. I think John gets them. A couple of other members get them, and they're very interesting. And I just want to say, I'm a relatively new member, and I do have a little bit of a background in photography, but what I enjoy is the camaraderie. I enjoy the technical knowledge of some of the people. I always learn something, and I think some people are scared away because they think it's too technical for them, but you know, that's the way you learn. So if you're interested, come on by. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Isabel did bring up one other item that I probably should talk about. As you all know, in the digital world, with computers, with photography, and what have you, we have a plethora of manuals. And these manuals are written by people like you and I, sitting at home, with a little more knowledge of what they're writing than we do. And we have had an author of books on Corel Painter and Adobe Photoshop, just entering the digital world. And I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I want to thank you, and I want to, as a memorandum, but everybody for coming to us. Here's a cup for you. I'm sure you don't have a coffee cup anywhere in the house. We certainly want to thank you very, very much.
You know, it's a very, very informative program. Talking about manuals. Mary Jean has a new camera.
Mary Jean has a new camera, and on this last vacation we were on, she made the very bad mistake while I was driving to start reading the manual. And by the time she finished about 12 pages, she was almost ready to throw the camera away. So I think it's probably a good idea she would come and enjoy your thing. I enjoyed it too, but I was just thinking that she had a new camera, we hadn't got to do too much before she left, but she'd read the manual. It was a real mistake. She took the thick manual, and she said, I'll never clear all this stuff. That's the way to do is push the shutter button and you're done. Anyway, thank you very, very much. The next program will be in our ice cream social in August, and you're all invited to come. It's going to be on the Hula Club. Doesn't you like me? All remember when the Hula Club started? This will be their 5th anniversary this summer, and so we're going to have a talk. We won't be any hula, but we'll have ice cream and the presentation. There's a sign-up sheet, so you'd like to get our highlights, which is our quarterly publication. And want to let you know that Mike Mooney, who is the Vice President, is working on a presentation at the administration building on June 25th. It'll be up there. He's done a nice job. He's done the posters over here. And if you all are interested in what the flood we're talking about, is a picture of the amphitheater after Bob left, but the water stayed there for, I think, almost a week, so you can imagine Bob hadn't gotten that door open.
Yeah, I can recall afterwards laughing when I went down there. I took some photographs of it because some up here, and there's a sign up there, no seating in the first 3 rows. Well, it was underwater anyway. It had nothing to do with the flood.
No, that was in 1995, I think.
Right.
It was very early in the year, and as Bob said, I was coming home past, and there was not that much indication of rain. What happened was we got 4 inches in an hour, and at the annual high tide. So the water was being pushed back up the channel as fast as the water was coming down the channel, and we seem to be in the low spot. And since then, they've done a lot of things for flood control, so it may never happen again. But it was quite a experience, and that's the Lake Dodson over there on the picture. Also, this is National Museum Month, and Mike is doing some things for the paper, which I'll let you all find out how you see it. We have a guest today, Marie Antos, who is the president of the Seal Beach Historical Society. I want to ask her to talk a little about the Seal Beach presentation in the fall for the 95th anniversary of Seal Beach. Marie?
My name is Marie Antos. I'm here with the Seal Beach Historical
Mike?
Society. Seal Beach Historical Society. Red Car Museum. I don't know if any of you downtown and see the Red Car Museum. Well, we do own that, and we do take care of it, and we have people come in and look through it. Marilyn Dolby and Monique Adler are our docents. Well, a couple of our docents. We have as many as we can. Also, Kate Stedco and Ernie Lowley also come down, and they also have books in our Red Car Museum, and we do like an author's corner. If you write a book or you do something in Seal Beach, we'll put it in there for you. And you have a lot of stuff here. I mean, we were over there looking at all your stuff so nice and neat, and ours is all jumbled because we just restored it and put in new flooring and the outside. And hopefully you'll come down and look at it. I don't know, like I said, how many have seen it, have been down there. Well, hopefully you'll come down there and see it. Anyway, one of the reasons I'm here is because to listen to John, But also, we're having the 95th anniversary, and it's going to be on 10/10/10 for the, in October. And what we're doing is doing a whole group of people and the green belt. Does everybody know where the green belt is in Seal Beach? It'll be packed, and it's called the Joy Zone. That's what it's going to be called. Now, I don't know enough about it yet. I'm on the one of the people that's going to help do it. But we also have a place where we're going to be right by the red car, and we've invited, I invited Tom and Historical Society to come down and display some of your stuff that you have in here. Not stuff, but pictures. Pictures and, you know, what you like to display. And I was hoping we could get as many of you down there as possible. I don't know if you'd like to, and maybe a photography club would come down and, you know, just come down and look at it. Anyway, that's what I'd like to see, hopefully. So, just put it on your calendar for 10/10. Okay?
What
Thank you.
hours are the museum open?
I'm sorry?
What hours is your museum open?
Our museum now is open every other Saturday from 12 to 3. We are trying to open on Sundays if we have the dozens. During this 10/10/10, we're going to be opening from 11 o'clock in the morning till I think 5 o'clock. So there's plenty enough time to do all that, you know, come down and see us. And like I said, come down. I think it's going to be fun. I think you're going to enjoy it. But, you know, hopefully you'll have some time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lorraine. We definitely, I call some of the board, we definitely look forward to taking part in it and advertising in our publication. I'm sure the paper will be able to write some stories about it. We'll look forward to coming down and doing it. I want to thank Chuck Burnett, the guy with the first baseball cap who keeps us these things forever. I want to thank Gene and Fern for helping out this morning. And Charlotte wasn't here who does the highlights. But thank you all very, very much for coming, and we'll look forward to seeing you for hula and the ice cream. Thank you.
Have to do it, you know. So January and February are a little tougher to get new patient appointments. But now we're back to most of the doctors you can get within 2 weeks.
In a plastic bag, put it in a pot, you bring it to a boil, bingo, you got it. Of course, you have to flip it every 15 minutes or so, otherwise it doesn't heat thoroughly, or it doesn't heat evenly all the way through.